what you see in these ads, this is not the description of the page at all. This is really what, when they were creating the campaign, that's the ad that they created. We saw that, right? How to create the ad. So they actually chose these words, like, to be shown on the ad. Okay. All right. Moving back to our okay. So learning HTML basic structure and tags. Great. So inside the head, we can only have meta, title, link, script, and style. That's it. Moving into body. So now, if we save this file, save. So we're gonna go inside the QB, Dropbox, and inside your folder, the folder basics, save it as an index, index.html, index with lowercase I and no uppercase. Okay, index is the first page that opens up when you go to a website. By default, it's gonna look for index. If you do not have an index, it's not gonna open anything. It's gonna show you the list of all your files. Okay, for example, I have so many things open. If I go to Hertzing webdesign.com, that's my index page. Okay, but inside my subdomain, I do not have an index. So now it's showing me the index of, which is all the files that I have inside. It's not opening any page. Apache, by default, is deciding to show me these files because there is no index. So you must always have an index, index.html, okay? Perfect. So we're gonna save it as index.html, save. Great. Now we're gonna put our first tag, h1, and we're gonna save this, write learning HTML. Okay, so I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna put another comment here, headings. And please copy h1 and add h2, h3, all the way to h6. Uh-huh. All right. So let's see how that looks like. If you go to your straight to the folder and open up index, it's gonna open in the on the browser. Now, very careful. A lot of students, they always do the same mistake. If you go to the folder and you open the HTML file, you're looking at the local copy, right? When we start learning PHP, we're gonna see that we cannot run PHP locally on our computer. Therefore, we cannot run a PHP file from the computer. So we always have to go to FileZilla, for example, unless we install like a virtual server. But since we already have a server, I'm gonna connect to our server, hertzingwebdesign.com, my username, okay? I'm gonna go to my folder here. Right? So now here I can see my page locally. If I go now to my website, night basics, look at the URL, eduardo.hertzingwebdesign.com / blah blah blah. That's online. This is local. Yeah. So for now with HTML we can open files locally and see how they look. When we start using PHP, don't try to do this locally and refresh. It's not gonna work because PHP does not run on the computer. PHP runs on the server, so you have to go to the server, upload it, go to the server, and look at it there. Okay. All right. So that's all my H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Next, we're gonna look into paragraphs. I want you to note something here. Since the day I decided to add 2 hours. Okay? Look at this. Please write my name, enter, is, enter, and your name. Okay? First of all, I'm gonna upload it. Every time I have an enter on my code, yeah, on the website it's actually taken as a space. Even if I have hundreds of enters and a bunch of spaces, it is still considered as one space. Okay? So, what I want you to see here is that learning HTML that is inside an H1, there is an enter here. Between each H2s on my code, I put enters. And we can see that they go to the next line. But that is not because they have enters. I can actually put them all together. it's still exactly the same. The reason is because H1 has predefined styles. H2 as well. H1 has a predefined size of the text, a predefined padding or margin. Look, there's a space between both. There's a space from here to the edge. And it doesn't allow anything around it. It's gonna push the next thing to the next line. Okay? That's why they look like this. Now we can change this by changing the styling with CSS. We're gonna see that later. But for now, this is the defaults. Okay? So, when we're talking about paragraphs, I'm gonna put this all together now. Paragraphs, they act the same as H1, except that they do not have specific sizes. A paragraph will take the default size of the website. Let's go to lorem ipsum. I'm going to generate 2 paragraphs. Copy them. And paste them on my code. Make sure that you add a paragraph to each paragraph. So add P and close P. Do it again for the second paragraph. So what P is going to do, right, is also going to put a space between each paragraph. That's what P does. It adds this space here.
What do you change in the space?
View, word wrap.
Word wrap. Maybe another tab. Word wrap.
Mm-hmm. View.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Okay, so each tag has its default styling. So we can change this styling using CSS, right? If we go see any website, for example, maybe lorem ipsum, and I disable all the styles, that's what it looks like. I can see 2 paragraphs here. I can see a title, blah, blah, blah. Everything, links, a bunch of links. That's how it looks without styling. With styling, well, it gets a different look. So for now, we're just going to start by writing the code without styling. Then we're going to add styling to it. There is another tag that is like a wildcard. It has no styling at all, but we can use it to apply any style we want from scratch, right? That one is the span. So for example, I'm going to write this is inside a span. What I'm trying to show you here is that span does absolutely nothing. If you see, I didn't leave any spaces between span and span. right? Everything is together. This is inside a span. So that tag really is empty. I mean, it has no properties at all. At all, at all, at all. I can I can then write spaces here between each span. And I can see the spaces. Now, why would I want to use a span, right? Well, because as I said, it's a tag with no styling, and I can use it for wherever I want. For example, if I want to change a liquam inside my paragraph, and I want to make it of a different color, well, I can wrap a liquam inside a span, and using some styling with CSS, style, color, I can change the color. So a liquam that is inside a span will be color red. But it's not going to affect any margins or paddings around it, like a paragraph does, or like a heading does.
Style
Yeah, so there you go. A liquam is in red.
style equal color.
Okay, what we're gonna do now is to look into divisions. And divisions are one of the most used tags now in HTML. Before, websites were done using tables, right? Because tables allow us to give a structure, a skeleton to a website. But they have a lot of limitations. So after that, there was a concept that came up called tableless websites, and that's not without have a website without using tables. So tables were replaced by divisions. Divisions by default. Let's copy the paragraphs that we have here, 1 and 2, paste them, and change the P for div. Open and close div in both. So what a division is going to do is pretty much the same as a paragraph, except that it doesn't have any margins or paddings around. The paragraph will leave a space between each paragraph. A division won't. Okay? A division is simply a block of 100% width. It's going to occupy the 100% of the screen, and by default it has no height, no border, no padding, no margin, nothing. It's only 100% the width. Okay, therefore if it's 100%, everything inside that division will remain 100%, and if we add anything else, it's going to have to go underneath, kind of like the H1 or H2. So for example, add another division here at the top, division, and write hello world, open close division. Now I have 3 divisions: hello world, lorem ipsum, etiam, and metus dolor. Save. And there you go. In the first one, we were using paragraphs. There was a space between each paragraph. A division has no space, right? Hello world. Even if there is a space after hello world to put lorem ipsum, Since hello world is in a division, the division is taking all of this space. Even if hello world is like this big, the division actually takes all of it. And we can see with inspector, with Firebug, we can inspect the elements. And we can see there's a division, there's another division, there's the other division. So they are 100% of the screen. No height, the height is going to be taken by the content. No padding, no margin. Okay. Then we have links. And for links, we have a tag named anchors. The tag for an anchor is A, open, and close. Right? Emily, what is the name of, inside spine I have style. What is it? What is style? Yes, but I understand, but style is the same as name, as content, as chart set. What are they?
Not the value, but you said it.
They are attributes.
Attributes, yeah.
Okay? Meta has chart set as an attribute. Meta has name as an attribute, content as an attribute. In this case, span, and I added style as an attribute. Okay? Well, anchor, if I go here, if I write inside the anchor, go to Google, okay, the anchor automatically is not going to understand what I wrote inside and send it to Google, right? There's no magic. I need to add the attribute href. So if you see, there is an opening tag, a closing tag, and inside the opening tab, I have the attribute href. And that attribute is the one that tells where the link is going to go. If I wanted to go to a local page, meaning inside my own website, I just have to write the path towards that file. For example, if it's a file inside the folder fr for French/index, meaning I want to go to my index version of the page, right? My French version of the page. I just write the path. There's a folder French/index.html. Boom. But if I want to go to an external page, like Google, I have to write the full URL. Yannick, what are the parts of the URL? The parts of the URL, which is the protocol, HTTP. Then you have, well, the domain, right, google.com. And then you would have the path, and then you have the query. Those are not optional, but if you need them, right? In this case, I just want to go to the home page of Google, so I just need the protocol and the domain. So every time you want to make a link to an external page, you need the protocol. Why? Because if you do not put the protocol, it's going to try to find google.com inside your documents, inside your own website. You have to tell the browser, you know what, it's not inside my website, it's outside. Go out. HTTP. That's how you add a link. Okay? So this is an external link. And now I'm gonna write an internal local link. So for example, I'm just gonna add an image. Open this image. So let me go look for an image. HTML5. There you go. I'm going to view this image, save it. HTML5. That's a PNG. I can see here it's a PNG file. So I'm going to save it in the same folder. By the way, if you want to make a link to an internal file, they all have to be in the same folder. I mean, you can have subfolders. You can have folders inside of it, right? But all your files must be inside, all files and subfolders must be inside a main folder called the root. So my computer okay, I'm going to create a folder for images. That's where I'm going to save my image. Alright, so now I'm gonna make a link towards that image. So I saved my image in the folder images slash the name of the image and the extension. Don't forget the extension is a .png. If it was a JPEG, JPG, if it was a GIF, GIF. Okay. Now, anchors, you will see now, anchors by default, they are like the spans. They do not have any properties except that they change the color of the text. It makes it blue and it writes a line underneath. So if I want this to work, I'm gonna have to upload my index file and the image as well, right? So the folder images with the image inside. There it is. Okay. So here, if you see here, there's a break, right? I mean, there's an enter on my code from line 35 to line 36. I have two links. But as I told you before, links do not have any default styling. That's why they appear on the same line. The only thing that they do, the only default styling is that they change color and they put a line underneath. If you see here, there is one that is of a purple color and there's another one of a blue color. The purple one means that I have already been in that page. The browser remembers and it says that that page has already been visited. That's why it makes it purple. That's another default in CSS. We can change that color as well. We can change anything with CSS. Okay. So you see there is no padding or margin on the tops. There is no, it's not a block, meaning it's not 100% width. It allows elements to be beside it. So the one link is beside the other, right? So then if I want them to have in separate lines, I can add a break, BR. That's it. It went down. So this one, if you put the mouse over, you can read where it's going to send me. Go google.com. Click, bang. That was an external link. Therefore, I added HTTPS. I have this one here, which is a local link to an image. I just wrote images slash html5.png, and there's a file. I made a link towards the file, towards the image. Questions so far? Anything? We good? Ashley? Yannick? Yes? Alright, let's take a little break. And we're gonna continue with other stuff. By the way, you can always go to I'm adding everything here, huh? Also in Dropbox, I have my own folder. You can access it, and what I'm doing in class, you have it there too. Okay?
Is that where you're putting the recording?
Oh, the recording. That's gonna be a long one.